Finishing off the J's, we got the classic J from the show. You know, they're called classic variants. But to me, they're not even that classic. Classic to me is their very first variant, which is like the vintage Lego Ninja look. Back in the first wave in Ninjago, the sets were so simple and yet, so effective. That's classic. Not like Ninjago now, which switches vibes every 2 seconds, like robots to ghosts to pirates to Doom 2016. I don't know how to feel about it, but I still like this variant, even if it's not the very first. But look at this guy. When all the ninjas have noticeably different colors, they're much more distinguishable. In this movie, yeah, they all have different colors, but their colors act more as, detailing around their black ninja clothing. It's pretty boring to me. But Classic J, compared to the movie J here, is the perfect way to represent how I feel about the ninja's clothes. I know it's a weird thing to be irked about, but, I have to stall for time somehow. Wow, we go from Earth Ninja to Lightning Ninja, and now the Fire Ninja. This is it, guys. This is the former main ninja of Ninjago before Lloyd came along and, just kicked him off a cliff. I honestly preferred Kai as the main ninja because I feel like Lloyd was insanely forced into the lore. Again, I watched Ninjago for a short amount of time when it first came out all those years ago, and even when I was a young boy, who had no sense of what makes a good story, I still recognize the shoehorning of Lloyd to be pretty lame. I mean, my only complaint about Kai in the show was his hair. It's not a real hairpiece, and it's a shining example on why anime hair does not work in 3 dimensions. Hell, even when Lego tried to recreate his hair in Lego sets for that one arc where they went up against robots, they had to settle with this. Granted, it's a nice enough hairpiece, but it's not even close to the one in the show. Anyway, High School Kai is last because all high school variants suck, in my opinion. We all know this. Let's just move on. As goes the protocol, after the high school variant comes the unmasked variant. I spent a whole lot of time talking about Kai's hair in the show, but I said nothing about his hair in this movie. And I will say I'm a fan of the hair here. I don't really compliment this movie a lot, but here it is, I know it flares up like that as if it's a flame, and he's the Fire Ninja. It's a nice touch. The first ability of Kai is no surprise to anyone that has seen the show. Of course, Kai has the swords ability. Now, Kai really got the axe from Lloyd, not just for the lead role, as I mentioned in the last segment. I guess they couldn't come up with another signature weapon for Lloyd to have, even though, they got rid of the scythe and they got rid of the shurikens. They, instead of giving those to Lloyd, they're like, oh, we need to give Lloyd a sword because he's the main guy. And just to make Lloyd be different enough than Kai, they gave Kai 2 swords instead of just one that he's always had. I'm sorry, but if I was Kai, I'd resent Lloyd so much. Lloyd's character sucks from what I've seen in the show. And for him to just bump Kai out, despite Kai being a better character, is just disappointing. And it doesn't help that Kai was reduced to being the dude bro of the ninjas in this movie. Ugh.
Bro! Dude, give me a hug, man. Give me a birthday hug!
Now here's the standard variant of Kai in this movie, and I'm not even going to talk about his ninja suit because you already know about my distaste for the suits in this movie / game. Anyway, Kai's second and last ability is Fire Spinjitzu. Now this is the next 2 types of Spinjitzu we will cover in this series have more than one purpose. Like Cole's Earth Spinjitzu and Jay's Lightning Spinjitzu only really did one thing, but Fire Spinjitzu has multiple things it can do. First, the staple of Lego games at this point, fire can heat up and break golden Lego pieces. This mechanic has been around for a long old time, but that's not all. Fire Spinjitzu can also melt ice. Ice can show up in random places, and it's most common in the unclimbable mountain level. So Fire Spinjitzu is better than Earth and Lightning Spinjitzu by default, because it has multiple uses aside from turning those panels, which all Spinjitzu can do. Okay, we're not done with the Kais. In fact, Kai actually has an extra variant for some reason, and frankly, we just need a break from the Kais. Here's Rei, who has the same 2 abilities as Kai, Fire Spinjitzu and Swords, which is why I was able to, fit him in at this point in the list. Here's the kicker, though. Rei is actually Kai's father. Isn't it crazy how well this guy aged? Rei's diet probably consists of only kale shakes and veggie straws. Anyway, Rei was the former Elemental Master of Fire before his son took the title. Again, I haven't seen the show up to this point, so I don't know how exactly the title is passed. I mean, sure, Rei could have been the Elemental Master of Fire in his life, but would that have made Kai the Elemental Disciple of Fire? And to add to that, Kai's mom is the Elemental Master of Water, which is why Nia has her powers. But I mean, you put fire and water together, by Minecraft logic, that makes cobblestone. So, Kai and Nia should be Elemental Masters of Cobblestone. Ninjago writers, if you're listening, make it happen. No, we are not done with the Kais, and this one is one of the ninjas that get an extra variant besides the high school standard, unmasked, and classic. This is the training variant of Kai, and he is the only ninja to have the training variant. However, I don't see this as the training Kai. I see this as the Kendo Kai. First, it sounds cooler, and second, this is the kind of suit that it has been called in the past. Actually, Kendo Kai was in the collectible minifigure series that was released when the movie came out, and that's what they called it Kendo Kai. So I placed Kendo Kai above the previous variants of Kai because this variant is only seen with Kai, so it's nice to see something different, unique. Also, the helmet is really cool. I just wish the ninjas in the movie were more similar to their television counterparts and not reduced to one-dimensional, lame excuses for characters. And alas, the final Kai variant, the classic. I especially like the classic Kai variants out of all the classic variants because of the red. You see, red is my favorite color. If you haven't noticed me saying it earlier, the color red just pops out at you and makes most everything look better, unless it's like blood or something. Besides blood, though, red usually isn't an unwelcome sight. So with that being said, Kai has the best classic variant in my opinion. I would raise him higher if he had more useful abilities than just swords and fire spinjitzu. That's not to say fire spinjitzu isn't useful. It actually is used a lot. However, the swords ability is shared with a ton of characters. Again, I can't believe Kai was pushed to the side for Lloyd. I personally thought Kai was a much better main ninja. Lloyd is just too forced into the story, and I don't like it. And then, for the movie, Lloyd was just magically made the main character because Dave Franco is playing him, which is James Franco's brother. That's the biggest name that they could get for this movie. It's truly a shame. Again, one ninja to the next. This time we have Nia, the water ninja, and the first variant we are covering is the high school variant. Now, you know how I said each ninja besides Lloyd was reduced to one thing about them, like how Cole's the music guy, Jay's the awkward introvert, and Kai is the dude bro. Well, Nia's thing is that she's the girl, which is so much worse. That's all she is. She's the girl, and that's what she does. Now, I didn't watch enough of the show to know exactly how she gained the power of water bending, but I do know that Kai and Nia's mom was the elemental master of water, so that's why she has them. I don't know. She didn't have water powers when I was watching the show, so I don't know why it took her so long to activate. If someone could fill me in on that. For the longest time in the show, she was just the dead weight, but eventually the writers figured she should be more important. So they let her be the water ninja. At least that's my interpretation. Because up until when I was watching, she was just like, I'm all these different types. I'm a ninja in disguise. And it's like, okay, cool. Are you going to do something now? She never does. I didn't even say anything about the high school outfit for Nia, and that's simply because I do not care about whatever it is these ninjas wear these days. The same applies to the unmasked version of Nia, which is what we're covering right now. At least, Nia's suit has a dark silver color to it, along with that little chain skirt thing going on. So I guess her suit is slightly different in that sense. Also, I like Nia's hair, which is a big improvement from the show. Anyway, oh yeah, the first ability. Now each ninja has their own signature weapon, but in the show, Nia didn't have a signature weapon because she was not one of the main ninjas. So in this film, she was given the spear. The spear can be used to pry open these little panels. No biggie. Here's the standard variant of Nia in this game. And again, the slight change of color for the suit makes it a little less sinful. Now let's talk about this ability exclusive to the Water Ninja and another Maya that we saw a long time ago. Water Spinjitzu. Now, like Kai and his Fire Spinjitzu, the Water Spinjitzu serves more than just one function. First, the main function is that it can fill up these water tanks that can be found all over the open areas. And they can be distinguished by these blue wave-like targets. Nia can target these and send water over to it, making it fill up. The second function is common sense and honestly used more than the water tank. You can use Nia's Water Spinjitzu to put out fires, obviously. And since Garmadon is constantly attacking Ninjago City, there's a whole lot of fire lying around from the wake of his destruction. So you bet you'll be using Nia a lot to take out those fires.